The Sins of Adam and the True Nature of Eve by Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson often discusses religious and mythological themes in his work, drawing on Christian, Jungian, and psychoanalytic frameworks to explore human nature, morality, and the human condition. While he hasn't written a specific book or essay titled The Sins of Adam and the True Nature of Eve, he has talked about the biblical story of Adam and Eve, especially in relation to his broader commentary on responsibility, order, chaos, and the archetypal meanings of these figures. Here are some key ideas that Jordan Peterson might present when discussing the story of Adam and Eve. The symbolism of Adam and Eve is central to many of Jordan Peterson's interpretations of biblical stories, as he delves into the psychological and archetypal meanings of these figures. Here's a breakdown of the symbolism. 1. Adam, order and consciousness. Masculine principle. In Peterson's framework, Adam represents the masculine principle of order. He embodies structure, tradition, stability, and the known. In a way, Adam can be seen as a stand-in for the conscious, rational mind. Order. Adam's existence in the Garden of Eden before the fall symbolizes the ordered, structured world. He lives in harmony with nature, with clearly defined boundaries, and without conflict. This world represents a state of stability and predictability, where everything functions as it should. Responsibility. For Peterson, Adam also symbolizes individual responsibility. His failure to take full responsibility for his actions after the fall, blaming Eve, is a critical element in the story, pointing to the human tendency to avoid responsibility for one's own faults. 2. Eve, chaos and the unknown. Feminine principle. Eve represents the feminine principle of chaos. In Peterson's work, chaos isn't inherently negative. It represents the unknown, potential, and the place from which new things emerge. Chaos can be both creative and destructive, as it represents forces that are unpredictable and destabilizing. Curiosity and temptation. Eve's decision to eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge is an act of curiosity, the desire to explore the unknown, and the quest for deeper understanding. This act unleashes chaos into the world, but also leads to the development of human consciousness and moral awareness. Creativity and birth of awareness. Although Eve's actions bring suffering, they also bring the possibility of growth, transformation, and learning. By eating the fruit, Eve opens humanity up to the knowledge of good and evil, which is both a burden and a pathway to wisdom. 3. The Garden of Eden, the primordial state. The Garden of Eden is a symbolic representation of a state of innocence, harmony, and unconscious perfection. It is a paradise where Adam and Eve exist without self-consciousness or suffering. Before the fall, they do not know good or evil, and they live in a harmonious, ordered world that is free from chaos. Innocence and ignorance. The state of Adam and Eve in the garden represents the innocence of ignorance, where they have not yet encountered moral dilemmas, suffering, or self-awareness. They are like children who live in a world that is safe and nurturing but limited in scope. 4. The Tree of Knowledge of Good and Evil, the awakening of morality. The Tree of Knowledge represents the potential for moral knowledge, free will, and the awareness of the complexities of life. By eating from this tree, Adam and Eve gain the ability to distinguish between good and evil, marking the beginning of human ethical responsibility. The fall as consciousness. Peterson often interprets the fall not as a literal act of disobedience, but as a psychological awakening. Eating the fruit symbolizes the development of human consciousness. Adam and Eve move from a state of ignorance, blissful but unconscious, to a state of awareness, painful but with the potential for growth. 5. The serpent, the eternal tempter. The serpent is a recurring symbol in many mythologies as a trickster or tempter. In the Adam and Eve story, the serpent represents the introduction of deception, but it also serves as a catalyst for transformation. By convincing Eve to eat the fruit, the serpent initiates the process by which human beings gain knowledge and moral awareness. Chaos and unpredictability. The serpent also embodies elements of chaos. It is a figure of unpredictability and danger, disrupting the harmony of the garden. 6. Nakedness and shame. The realization of vulnerability. After eating the fruit, Adam and Eve realize they are naked and become ashamed. For Peterson, this moment symbolizes the human realization of vulnerability. Before the fall, Adam and Eve were unaware of their limitations or mortality. The awareness of nakedness signifies a deep understanding of human fragility, the potential for suffering, and moral fallibility. Shame and self-consciousness. Their newfound awareness of nakedness brings with it the burden of shame and self-consciousness. Humans, now aware of their own imperfection, must contend with feelings of inadequacy and guilt. 7. The expulsion from Eden. The burden of freedom. The expulsion from the Garden of Eden symbolizes the transition from a protected, childlike state of ignorance into the world of responsibility, work, and moral decision-making. It reflects the human condition, where individuals must confront the realities of suffering, death, and the challenges of life. Freedom and responsibility. While Adam and Eve lose the safety of the garden, they also gain the freedom to act, choose, and create. However, with this freedom comes the weight of responsibility, the awareness that every action has consequences. 8. Order and chaos. The balance of opposites. Peterson frequently discusses the importance of balancing order, Adam, and chaos, Eve. Both are necessary elements of human life. Order provides structure and stability, while chaos provides creativity and the potential for growth. Too much order leads to rigidity and tyranny, while too much chaos leads to disorder and destruction. The journey of life. The story of Adam and Eve can be seen as an allegory for the human journey, starting in a state of unconscious order, encountering chaos through knowledge and self-awareness, and then learning to navigate the tension between the two forces. In summary, Adam and Eve in Jordan Peterson's interpretation are not just historical or religious figures, but symbolic archetypes representing universal human experiences. Adam embodies order, responsibility, and the conscious mind, while Eve represents chaos, creativity, and the unconscious. Their story is a psychological drama about the awakening of human consciousness, moral responsibility, and the eternal struggle between the known and the unknown. In Jordan Peterson's interpretation of the story of Adam and Eve, the fall is understood as a symbolic representation of the awakening of human consciousness, rather than simply a moral transgression. Here's a breakdown of this theme. 1. The fall is the birth of self-consciousness. According to Peterson, the act of eating the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil represents the moment when Adam and Eve become self-aware. Before this event, they lived in a state of unconscious innocence, much like children or animals, without the capacity to fully understand themselves, the world, or the concept of morality. Self-consciousness brings about a profound realization of their own mortality, vulnerability, and limitations. They recognize their nakedness, which is not just physical but a metaphor for the human condition. The realization of being exposed, imperfect, and subject to suffering and death. Peterson views this awakening of self-consciousness as the defining feature of human beings, setting us apart from other animals. It is both a gift and a curse. It gives us the ability to understand good and evil, but also forces us to confront the harsh realities of life. 2. Moral awareness and the knowledge of good and evil. Before the fall, Adam and Eve lived in a state of innocence without knowledge of right and wrong. Eating the fruit of the tree of knowledge, however, brings them into a world of moral awareness, where they are capable of distinguishing good from evil. This is central to the human condition. Peterson argues that humans must bear the burden of moral choice. The fall is not simply about disobedience to God, but rather about the development of moral agency. By becoming aware of good and evil, humans are thrust into a world where every action has consequences, and they must now take responsibility for their choices. This moral knowledge is what makes life difficult, as individuals must constantly navigate between right and wrong, but it also opens up the possibility of growth, wisdom, and ethical maturity. 3. Suffering and the loss of innocence. With the awakening of consciousness comes the recognition of suffering. Adam and Eve's expulsion from the Garden of Eden symbolizes the end of their innocent, carefree existence and the beginning of a life filled with toil, pain, and hardship. Peterson often emphasizes that suffering is an inescapable part of life. The story of the fall teaches that to become fully human is to accept this reality. Life outside the garden is marked by pain, such as Eve's suffering in childbirth and Adam's struggle with work. But this suffering is also the price of self-awareness and moral responsibility. The loss of innocence means that humans must now confront the complexity of existence, including their own flaws, fears, and limitations. 4. Freedom and responsibility. With the awakening of consciousness, Adam and Eve also gained freedom. They can now make decisions and shape their lives. However, this freedom comes with a heavy burden: the responsibility to make ethical choices and to navigate a world that is no longer simple and straightforward. Peterson highlights that, in many ways, the fall is an inevitable part of human development. To become aware of one's own existence and the consequences of one's actions is to take on the weight of personal responsibility. This is why Adam's failure to accept responsibility after the fall, blaming Eve, is seen as a crucial misstep. 5. Exile from the garden. The expulsion of Adam and Eve from Eden is symbolic of the transition from a protected, sheltered existence into the real world, where suffering, death, and moral choices are unavoidable. The Garden of Eden can be seen as a representation of a pre-conscious, childlike state of being where everything is provided, and there is no need for struggle. Leaving the garden is symbolic of the human journey into maturity, accepting the harsh realities of life, taking on responsibility, and grappling with the knowledge of good and evil. The world outside Eden is full of challenges, but it is also where human potential can be realized. Only by leaving the garden and confronting chaos and suffering can humans grow, create, and find meaning. 6. The necessity of the fall for human growth. Peterson argues that the fall is not merely a negative event, but a necessary one for human growth. Without the knowledge of good and evil, Adam and Eve would have remained in a state of ignorant innocence, incapable of moral development or true autonomy. The fall marks the beginning of the human journey toward wisdom and self-improvement. Through suffering and moral awareness, individuals are given the opportunity to rise above their limitations, to learn from their mistakes, and to create a meaningful existence. Human potential is only fully realized outside the garden, where individuals must confront chaos and uncertainty. In Peterson's view, the story of the fall is a profound exploration of the dual nature of human existence. We are both blessed and cursed by our consciousness, but it is through this consciousness that we can find purpose and meaning. 7. Balancing order and chaos. Peterson often emphasizes that life involves a constant tension between order and chaos. The Garden of Eden represents perfect order, a safe, predictable world where everything is provided and nothing is uncertain. However, perfect order also means stagnation and ignorance. Chaos enters the story when Adam and Eve eat from the tree of knowledge. Chaos represents the unknown, the unpredictable, and the dangerous, but it also represents possibility and growth. The fall can be understood as a necessary disruption of the too-perfect order of the garden. By introducing chaos into their lives, Adam and Eve open themselves up to the full spectrum of human experience. Suffering, yes, but also creativity, freedom, and the potential for greatness. 8. A psychological and archetypal interpretation. In Peterson's view, the story of Adam and Eve is not just a religious parable but a psychological and archetypal narrative that speaks to fundamental truths about human existence. The fall represents the moment when humans became fully conscious, with all the benefits and challenges that come with that consciousness. It is an archetypal story about the human condition, the struggle between innocence and knowledge, the burden of responsibility, and the tension between order and chaos. The fall is not just a fall from grace, but a fall into the complexity and richness of human life. Conclusion. The fall as the awakening of consciousness is one of the most profound aspects of Jordan Peterson's interpretation of the Adam and Eve story. Rather than simply a story of disobedience, it symbolizes the emergence of human self-awareness, moral responsibility, and the inevitable confrontation with suffering and chaos. This awakening is both a burden and a gift, as it opens up the potential for personal growth, creativity, and the pursuit of meaning. Through this lens, the fall is not just about loss, but about the possibility of achieving true maturity and wisdom. In Jordan Peterson's interpretation of the Adam and Eve story, Adam's sins represent more than just disobedience to God. They symbolize the human failure to take responsibility for one's actions and the avoidance of necessary confrontation with life's challenges. Peterson often ties this to his broader themes of personal accountability, moral growth, and the consequences of passivity. Here are some key aspects of the sins of Adam in Peterson's framework. 1. Adam's failure to take responsibility. One of the primary sins of Adam, according to Peterson, is his failure to take responsibility for his own choices. After Adam and Eve eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, God confronts them about their actions. Rather than accepting accountability, Adam immediately shifts the blame to Eve, saying, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate." Genesis 3 verse 12. This act of deflection is seen as a fundamental moral failure. By blaming Eve, Adam refuses to accept responsibility for his own decision to eat the forbidden fruit. In Peterson's view, this illustrates a broader human tendency to blame external circumstances or other people for one's own mistakes, instead of owning up to them. Peterson teaches that true moral and psychological growth can only occur when individuals confront their failures honestly and take responsibility for their actions, rather than seeking to escape the consequences or shift blame. 2. Passivity in the face of temptation. Another sin of Adam is his passivity when Eve is tempted by the serpent. According to the biblical account, Adam is present with Eve during her conversation with the serpent, Genesis 3 verse 6, yet he does nothing to stop the exchange or intervene. In Peterson's analysis, Adam's passivity symbolizes the human tendency to avoid confrontation or difficult decisions, especially when they involve conflict or challenge. Instead of stepping in and taking an active role in resisting temptation or protecting the order of the garden, Adam remains silent and compliant. This passivity is part of what leads to the fall. Peterson argues that failure to act in the face of a problem, whether out of fear, laziness, or avoidance, often has disastrous consequences. Adam's failure to confront the serpent represents a deeper moral failure to uphold responsibility and courage when it is most needed. 3. Failure to uphold the balance between order and chaos. In Peterson's broader framework, Adam represents order, while Eve represents chaos, not in a purely negative sense, but as the unknown, the potential for both good and harm. The sin of Adam can be interpreted as his failure to maintain the balance between order and chaos. By allowing chaos, symbolized by the serpent and the eating of the fruit, to overtake the order of the garden, Adam fails in his archetypal role. His passivity leads to the disruption of the balance that had kept the garden in a state of harmony. Peterson often argues that it is the role of individuals and societies to integrate chaos into order, to face the unknown and incorporate it responsibly into the known world. Adam's failure to do so leads to the fall, symbolizing how individuals can fail to properly integrate new knowledge, experiences, or challenges into their lives when they avoid taking responsibility. 4. Blaming God. When Adam says, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate," Genesis 3 verse 12, he is not only blaming Eve but also implicitly blaming God. He suggests that it is God's fault for giving him the woman in the first place, thereby deflecting his responsibility even further. This shifting of blame to a higher power, in Peterson's interpretation, is symbolic of the human tendency to avoid accountability by blaming fate, the universe, or even God for one's problems. Instead of taking responsibility for his own actions, Adam shifts the blame upward, avoiding the weight of his own choices. Peterson teaches that individuals must resist the temptation to blame external forces, be they people, circumstances, or higher powers, for their own failings. Only through accepting responsibility for one's own decisions can true growth occur. 5. The refusal to accept the burden of consciousness. In a deeper psychological sense, Adam's sin can be seen as his refusal to accept the full burden of consciousness. By eating from the tree of knowledge, Adam and Eve become aware of their own vulnerability, mortality, and moral responsibility. Instead of embracing this new level of consciousness and taking on the burden of ethical decision-making, Adam tries to escape from it by blaming Eve and God. This is a refusal to confront the harsh realities of life, such as the inevitability of suffering and the necessity of responsibility. Peterson often emphasizes that the development of consciousness is a double-edged sword. While it allows for wisdom and moral growth, it also brings with it the painful awareness of suffering, death, and the moral complexities of life. Adam's sin is his failure to fully accept and integrate this new awareness, which is a crucial aspect of becoming a mature, responsible human being. 6. The symbolic consequences of Adam's sins. The consequences of Adam's sins are profound, not only for him but for all of humanity. His failure to take responsibility leads to the expulsion from the garden, symbolizing the loss of innocence and the beginning of a life marked by suffering, toil, and death. In Peterson's interpretation, this expulsion represents the human condition. Once self-consciousness and moral awareness are awakened, there is no return to the blissful ignorance of the garden. Humans must now live in a world of suffering and responsibility, but this also opens up the possibility for growth, creativity, and meaning. The story of Adam's sins and the resulting expulsion from Eden serves as a reminder that moral failure leads to suffering, but it also teaches that through responsibility and the proper integration of consciousness, individuals can find a path toward meaning and redemption. 7. Adam as an archetype of avoidance. In a larger sense, Adam's behavior can be seen as an archetype of avoidance. His refusal to act in the face of temptation, his deflection of blame, and his failure to take responsibility all represent the human tendency to avoid confronting difficult truths and challenges. Peterson argues that avoidance only leads to greater chaos and suffering in the long run. The solution to this is to face challenges head-on, take responsibility for one's own life, and confront the chaos and suffering of existence with courage and integrity. Conclusion. For Jordan Peterson, Adam's sins are not just about disobedience. They are symbolic of the deeper human failings of passivity, avoidance of responsibility, and the deflection of blame. Adam's failure to take responsibility for his actions, blaming both Eve and God, illustrates the moral and psychological pitfalls of avoiding accountability. This story serves as a powerful metaphor for the human condition, reminding us that growth, wisdom, and meaning come from accepting responsibility for our own actions and confronting the challenges of life with courage. In Jordan Peterson's interpretation of the biblical narrative of Adam and Eve, the figure of Eve is rich with symbolism, representing a complex interplay of themes related to feminine nature, chaos, creativity, and moral awakening. Here's a deeper exploration of the true nature of Eve as presented by Peterson. 1. Eve as the archetype of chaos. In Peterson's framework, Eve embodies the feminine principle associated with chaos and the unknown. Chaos, in this context, is not merely disorder. It represents the potential for new possibilities, creativity, and transformation. Eve's existence challenges the established order symbolized by Adam. The idea of chaos encompasses both danger and potential. While it can disrupt stability, it is also where new life and ideas emerge. Peterson sees Eve as a representation of the dynamic forces of life that can lead to growth, creativity, and the evolution of human consciousness. 2. Curiosity and the quest for knowledge. Eve's decision to eat from the tree of knowledge is often framed as an act of curiosity and a desire for deeper understanding. In Peterson's view, this quest for knowledge is an essential aspect of human nature. It reflects a fundamental drive to explore, learn, and grow. Her action symbolizes a transition from innocence to awareness, representing the moment when humanity seeks to understand the complexities of existence. This pursuit of knowledge is inherently tied to both enlightenment and suffering, as it leads to self-awareness and the acknowledgement of good and evil. Peterson posits that the desire for knowledge, while fraught with risks, is essential for development. It reflects humanity's innate curiosity, which drives progress and understanding. 3. Eve as a catalyst for transformation. Eve's actions set in motion the events that lead to the fall, serving as a catalyst for profound transformation in human consciousness. Peterson emphasizes that this transformation is not merely negative. It represents a necessary step in human evolution. The chaos that Eve introduces into the garden is essential for the development of moral agency and consciousness. It propels humanity into a new realm of existence where individuals must confront moral dilemmas, make choices, and take responsibility for their actions. Eve's role as a catalyst highlights the dynamic nature of existence. Change, while often disruptive, is a vital aspect of growth and development. 4. The dual nature of Eve. Peterson often discusses the duality of Eve's character. While she embodies chaos and temptation, she also represents the potential for creativity, nurturing, and life-giving forces. This duality reflects the complexities of femininity itself, encompassing both nurturing aspects and the potential for destruction. Eve's character illustrates the idea that chaos can lead to both positive and negative outcomes, depending on how it is engaged. Her potential for creativity signifies the ability to bring forth life, innovation, and transformation. This dual nature is central to understanding femininity within the context of Peterson's broader exploration of psychological archetypes. Eve embodies the tension between nurturing and chaos, creation and destruction. 5. Moral awareness and responsibility. Eve's decision to eat from the tree of knowledge leads to the awakening of moral consciousness for both herself and Adam. This act symbolizes a shift from a state of innocence to one of awareness, where they must now grapple with the complexities of morality. Peterson suggests that the knowledge of good and evil is both a gift and a burden. With this awareness comes the realization of personal responsibility and the consequences of actions. Eve's role in this transformation underscores the significance of moral growth and the journey towards ethical maturity. In this sense, Eve's actions contribute to the deeper understanding of human nature. That growth often comes with pain and struggle, but it is necessary for true self-awareness and ethical decision-making. 6. Eve's role in human relationships. Eve's relationship with Adam is also crucial in understanding her nature. Peterson explores the dynamic between the two, emphasizing how Eve challenges Adam's order and stability. Her introduction of chaos into their existence prompts Adam to confront his own passivity and responsibility. This relationship illustrates the interplay between masculine and feminine principles. Adam, order, and Eve, chaos, must navigate their differences and work together to find balance in their existence. Their partnership becomes a metaphor for the importance of collaboration and understanding between genders. Peterson suggests that the complementary nature of these archetypes is essential for personal and societal growth. The interplay between order and chaos fosters a more dynamic and resilient existence. 7. Eve as a symbol of redemption. Peterson also posits that Eve's actions can be viewed as a necessary step toward redemption. Although she is often cast in a negative light for her role in the fall, her quest for knowledge ultimately leads to greater understanding and self-awareness. In this light, Eve's journey becomes one of personal and collective evolution. The knowledge gained through the fall allows humanity to confront its flaws, seek redemption, and strive for a more meaningful existence. This perspective emphasizes that the path to growth is often fraught with challenges and setbacks, but these experiences are essential for realizing one's potential. 8. Eve's complexity in the human experience. Ultimately, Eve's character serves as a profound reflection of the complexities of human existence. She embodies the interplay of chaos and order, the pursuit of knowledge, the importance of moral responsibility, and the potential for transformation. Peterson argues that understanding Eve's true nature helps illuminate the broader themes of human existence: the balance of opposing forces, the necessity of grappling with chaos, and the pursuit of meaning in a complex world. Eve's story invites individuals to confront their own complexities, embrace the unknown, and engage in the journey towards self-discovery and moral growth. Conclusion. In Jordan Peterson's interpretation, the true nature of Eve is a multifaceted symbol of chaos, creativity, and moral awakening. While she embodies the forces that disrupt the order of the garden, her actions are also crucial for the development of human consciousness and moral awareness. Eve's story reflects the complexities of femininity and the interplay between order and chaos, underscoring the importance of curiosity, responsibility, and transformation in the human experience. Her character serves as a reminder that growth often emerges from the tension between opposing forces, leading to a richer, more meaningful existence. In Jordan Peterson's interpretation of the Adam and Eve narrative, the themes of order and chaos play a pivotal role in understanding the human condition. These concepts are not merely abstract ideas. They are deeply woven into the fabric of the story and serve as a framework for exploring the complexities of existence. Here's an in-depth look at how Peterson delineates the dynamics of order and chaos in the context of the biblical account. 1. Definitions of order and chaos. Order represents stability, structure, predictability, and the known aspects of life. It is associated with rules, norms, and the existing state of being, which provides individuals with a sense of safety and security. Chaos, on the other hand, symbolizes the unknown, unpredictability, potential, and the realm of possibilities. It encompasses creativity, transformation, and the forces that challenge the status quo. While chaos can be frightening and destructive, it also offers opportunities for growth and new experiences. 2. The Garden of Eden is order. The Garden of Eden serves as a powerful symbol of perfect order. It is a paradise where Adam and Eve live in harmony, free from suffering, conflict, and moral dilemmas. In this state, everything is provided for them, and they are not burdened by the complexities of life. Within the garden, there are clear boundaries and rules, such as the command not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. These rules create a framework for their existence, allowing them to thrive in a state of innocence. 3. The fall as the introduction of chaos. The act of eating the forbidden fruit introduces chaos into their lives. This decision disrupts the order of the garden and signifies a loss of innocence, as Adam and Eve gain knowledge of good and evil. The fall represents a transition from a state of blissful ignorance to one of self-awareness and moral responsibility. With the awakening of consciousness comes the burden of understanding suffering, mortality, and the complexity of ethical choices. Peterson emphasizes that the introduction of chaos is a necessary aspect of human existence. While it brings challenges, it also allows for growth, creativity, and the potential for new beginnings. 4. The dynamic relationship between order and chaos. Peterson posits that order and chaos exist in a dynamic interplay. While order provides stability and predictability, chaos introduces the possibility of change and evolution. Both elements are essential for a balanced and meaningful life. In the aftermath of the fall, Adam and Eve are expelled from the garden, forced to confront the chaos of the outside world. This transition represents the necessity of engaging with life's complexities and uncertainties. Through this struggle, they can grow, develop resilience, and discover their potential. 5. Order, chaos, and personal development. The journey from order to chaos and back again is central to individual growth. Peterson often discusses the importance of facing chaos in order to achieve self-discovery and personal transformation. Embracing chaos allows individuals to confront their fears, learn from their experiences, and develop a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. This process often involves grappling with difficulties and challenges, leading to greater wisdom and maturity. Peterson encourages individuals to step outside their comfort zones, order, and engage with the unknown, chaos, in order to achieve personal growth and fulfillment. 6. The necessity of balance. Peterson argues that a healthy life requires a balance between order and chaos. Too much order can lead to rigidity, stagnation, and a lack of growth, while too much chaos can result in confusion, despair, and disorder. The ideal state is one where individuals can navigate between these two forces, using the stability of order to ground themselves while remaining open to the possibilities offered by chaos. This balance allows for creativity and innovation to emerge, fostering a dynamic environment where individuals can thrive and explore their potential. 7. The role of myth and storytelling. Peterson emphasizes that stories, myths, and archetypes often encapsulate the struggles between order and chaos, reflecting fundamental truths about the human experience. The Adam and Eve narrative is one such story that illustrates these themes in a powerful way. By exploring the dynamics of order and chaos through storytelling, individuals can gain insights into their own lives and the challenges they face. Myths serve as guides, helping people navigate the complexities of existence and find meaning in their experiences. 8. The importance of responsibility. Engaging with chaos requires a sense of responsibility. After the fall, Adam and Eve must confront the consequences of their actions and take responsibility for their choices. This marks a significant shift in their existence and underscores the importance of moral agency. Peterson teaches that accepting responsibility is crucial for overcoming chaos. By doing so, individuals can reclaim agency over their lives and find a sense of purpose amid uncertainty. Responsibility acts as a stabilizing force that allows individuals to confront chaos with courage and determination, fostering personal growth and resilience. Conclusion. In Jordan Peterson's interpretation, the interplay between order and chaos is a fundamental aspect of the Adam and Eve narrative and the human experience as a whole. The Garden of Eden represents a state of perfect order, while the fall introduces chaos and complexity into human consciousness. This dynamic relationship between order and chaos is essential for personal growth, creativity, and moral responsibility. Peterson emphasizes the importance of finding balance between these forces, engaging with the unknown, and embracing the challenges of life in order to achieve a more meaningful existence. The themes of order and chaos resonate deeply with individuals, serving as a guiding framework for understanding the complexities of life and the path toward personal development. In Jordan Peterson's exploration of the Adam and Eve narrative, the burden of knowledge is a crucial theme that delves into the profound implications of consciousness and moral awareness. This theme encapsulates the dual nature of knowledge as both a gift and a burden, highlighting the complexities of human existence. Here's an in-depth look at this concept. 1. The nature of knowledge. In the biblical story, the tree of knowledge of good and evil symbolizes the awakening of consciousness and moral understanding. When Adam and Eve eat from the tree, they gain awareness of their own existence, including the concepts of good, evil, and mortality. This newfound knowledge represents a transition from innocence to awareness. While it brings enlightenment and understanding, it also introduces the weight of responsibility and the realities of suffering, loss, and ethical dilemmas. 2. Awakening and responsibility. The act of eating the forbidden fruit signifies the moment when humanity becomes self-aware. With this awareness comes the burden of moral responsibility. Adam and Eve are no longer innocent beings living in paradise. They must now navigate a world filled with choices and consequences. Peterson emphasizes that this awakening is not merely an intellectual event. It is a deeply emotional and psychological shift that alters the fabric of human existence. The burden of knowledge compels individuals to confront their own morality, the impact of their actions, and the complexities of interpersonal relationships. 3. The pain of consciousness. Knowledge brings with it the pain of consciousness. The awareness of good and evil exposes individuals to the harsh realities of life, including suffering, betrayal, and the inevitability of death. This aspect of knowledge can lead to feelings of despair and existential dread. Peterson often discusses how the burden of knowledge can weigh heavily on individuals, causing them to grapple with questions about meaning, purpose, and their place in the world. The recognition of life's inherent suffering is a critical aspect of the human experience that cannot be ignored. 4. The complexity of morality. The burden of knowledge also involves navigating the complexities of morality. Once Adam and Eve gain awareness of good and evil, they must make ethical decisions that have real consequences. This newfound moral agency is both empowering and daunting. Peterson highlights that moral dilemmas are often fraught with ambiguity and uncertainty. The responsibility of making ethical choices can create a sense of anxiety, as individuals must weigh their values against the potential consequences of their actions. 5. The necessity of suffering. Peterson posits that suffering is an integral part of the human experience, often arising from the burden of knowledge. The awareness of mortality and the inevitability of suffering compel individuals to seek meaning and purpose in their lives. This struggle with suffering can lead to personal growth and resilience. By confronting the challenges that arise from their awareness, individuals can cultivate strength, wisdom, and empathy. The acknowledgement of suffering allows individuals to find solidarity with others who share similar struggles, fostering a sense of connection and understanding. 6. The path to redemption. Despite the burdens associated with knowledge, Peterson argues that there is also a path to redemption. By accepting the responsibility that comes with awareness, individuals can seek to overcome the chaos and suffering in their lives. The journey toward redemption involves actively engaging with the complexities of existence, confronting one's fears, and making choices that align with one's values. This process can lead to personal transformation and a deeper understanding of oneself and the world. In this sense, the burden of knowledge can be seen as an opportunity for growth and moral evolution, as individuals learn to navigate the challenges of life with courage and integrity. 7. The role of myth and story. Peterson emphasizes that stories and myths, including the Adam and Eve narrative, often encapsulate the human struggle with knowledge and its burdens. These stories provide a framework for understanding the complexities of existence and the moral dilemmas faced by individuals. The narrative serves as a guide, helping people navigate their own experiences and find meaning in the challenges they encounter. Through storytelling, individuals can reflect on their own struggles and the burden of knowledge, fostering a sense of connection to the broader human experience. 8. The importance of wisdom. Ultimately, Peterson advocates for the cultivation of wisdom as a means of bearing the burden of knowledge. Wisdom allows individuals to navigate the complexities of life, make informed choices, and find meaning in their experiences. By embracing the responsibilities that come with knowledge and confronting the realities of existence, individuals can develop a deeper understanding of themselves and their place in the world. This journey towards wisdom can lead to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Conclusion. In Jordan Peterson's interpretation of the Adam and Eve narrative, the burden of knowledge is a central theme that encapsulates the complexities of human consciousness and moral responsibility. The transition from innocence to awareness brings with it the weight of ethical dilemmas, the pain of consciousness, and the necessity of navigating suffering. However, this burden also presents an opportunity for growth, redemption, and the cultivation of wisdom. By confronting the challenges that arise from their knowledge, individuals can embark on a journey towards self-discovery, resilience, and a deeper understanding of the human experience. The narrative of Adam and Eve serves as a powerful reminder of the intricate relationship between knowledge, responsibility, and the search for meaning in life. In his lectures, Peterson uses this narrative to encourage individuals to take responsibility for their lives, confront chaos and suffering head-on, and integrate both order and chaos in a balanced way. He finds deep psychological and philosophical truths embedded in ancient stories like Adam and Eve, seeing them as more than religious texts, but as windows into universal human experiences. If you're interested in hearing more from Peterson directly on these themes, he covers a lot of this territory in his book 12 Rules for Life, especially when he talks about the importance of responsibility, chaos, and order.